China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks. They're not competition for us.
China poses real challenges to the United States and, some ways, a real threat to the United States.
Former Vice President Joe Biden first mocking concerns about China. Then today in Iowa, the former VP seemed to reverse course by admitting that China does pose a threat to the United States. It appears to be the second major flip-flop in just the last week. So our political panel is here to weigh in tonight. Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and host of The Next Revolution, Steve Hilton. Welcome to you both.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, so the president taking off for Iowa today, where he was head-to-head with the former vice president, had this to say about the vice president's, at least before today, position on China.
Joe Biden thought that China was not a competitor of ours. Joe Biden is a dummy.
Steve, what do you think is behind the change?
Well, it's obviously a cleanup operation more than a flip-flop. His handlers gave him a piece of paper to read. He didn't even do a very good job of reading it out. His true position, I think, was the one revealed by his actions when he was in office, when he was consistently soft on China. And we know why, because Joe Biden is compromised by China. The Chinese government has paid bribes to Joe Biden in the form of billions of dollars of payments to Biden family businesses. We report on this almost every week now on The Next Revolution on my show, because almost every week there's a new example of how this is compromising Joe Biden. They know that he's got to clean it up and say what he said today, but we also know that it's not sincere. He is compromised by China. There's no way that he can stand up to them and negotiate on our behalf.
Well, and Leslie, Politico had a piece about this a couple of months back under the headline, Biden blindsided by dose of 2020 reality. It says the former vice president must not only determine how to respond, but also how to answer critics who will say his son's business interests would make it harder for him as a nominee to contrast his record with Trump on the question of ties to Russia. So there's been speculation about Ukraine. There's been speculation about family interests in China. What does the vice president do with this, especially if he's going to be the nominee and go out there and be able to use the Russia, he hopes, issue against the President Trump and his family?
No, point to the Trump family, point to the Trump corporation. I mean, Ivanka has how many patents that she's received from China? How many businesses has the president had and continues to have with Russia? And quite frankly, some other countries overseas who we have seen as enemies. Hello, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, the list goes on. So I think he just points in and says the pot is calling the kettle black. I don't think politically for voters it's going to come down to that, really, though. I think there is more of an issue with, is Joe Biden, as not only a nominee, if he were going to be president, going to be tough or tougher with China? Because one of the issues is that I've talked to many people who voted for Trump who feel he's not tough enough on China as he promised to when he campaigned. He hasn't addressed the constant manipulation of the currency by China. And there are some people out there that feel he's not been as tough as he had promised when he campaigned and would like to see him be tougher.
Well, Steve, I think it was yesterday that he said, or it might have even been today, because he was out there making remarks both days, talking about the fact that he will kick it up another notch and go to 25% on another $300 billion of goods when it comes to tariffs on China. He certainly sounds like he's not making them happy right now.
Yes, and honestly, I have to take issue with what my dear friend Leslie said there, because President Trump is the first leader, not just of this country, he's the first Western leader in about 50 years to actually stand up to China and call their bluff and challenge them on their plans for world domination, economically, militarily, and in technology as well. What he's doing in reorienting our policy and showing that China is a real threat that we have to confront is a historic change in policy. I think in 50 years, people will look back and say it's one of the most consequential things that he did. And to say that it's not enough is ridiculous when you compare it to the complete acquiescence in China's rise that was the policy of all previous presidents before Donald Trump.
All right, 5 seconds, Leslie. Quick response from you.
Well, two things there. We still have a trade deficit, so this isn't, the rhetoric doesn't make it all go away. Neither do these tariffs. And two, this definitely feeds into the economic politics and feeds the nationalism of the Chinese. So a lot of his rhetoric is actually helping China and its leaders.
We'll leave it there. Leslie and Steve, thank you both very much.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon.